I don't. It's not a great loss. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving an excuse for it. I don't think it's as big of a deal as social media is probably making it out to be right now.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias alongside Brian McKeon. We're both lifelong Yankee fans. We've been hosting the show together since April 2024. I got my start as a blogger. Brian worked for WFAN. And between the two of us, we've been watching the Yankees about 60 years. So it's a lot.
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting way to put it. And we've sat through everything, right? No hitters, perfect games, pennants, some of us World Series,
nine run innings. Today's show, we will preview Game 2 between the Yankees and Detroit. Carlos Rodón gets the start. And we're going to talk about John Schneider's comments about the Yankees stealing signs because we didn't get to that on yesterday's show. And we're going to talk about something that Aaron Boone said about Aaron Judge and how he's going to play outfield from now until the end of the season. But first, we have to talk about Tuesday night's game against the Tigers, which started off well and then went to hell in a handbasket very quickly.
I would... we've talked about this before. Teams do buy themselves leeway sometimes, and we've talked about the fact that if the Yankees played well throughout the entire season, they would have a lot more leeway at this point in the season that they would have built themselves up. I'm going to give you a fairly different opinion than what most people might expect coming out of me right now. I do think this is one of those losses. You crumble up the loose leaf, you toss it in the bin, and you move on to tomorrow.
Right.
It's a bad game that got away from them. It was winnable at a point. It got away. They had a terrible inning. It does happen. And you know what? I'd be a lot more angry if they had come into those first 6 games of this tough stretch at 2-4.
Right.
But they didn't. They came into it 4-2. So I take it. They'll lick their wounds. They'll come back tomorrow with Carlos Rodón, who's been excellent for them in the last 2 months. It's not a great loss. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving an excuse for it. I don't think it's as big of a deal as social media is probably making it out to be right now.
You mean tonight against?
Correct. Yeah. You guys get it. You guys know, but we try to trick you, but it doesn't always work. Let's talk about Will Warren, because before the bullpen completely exploded, Will Warren, 6 innings, 2 runs. The 2 runs came on a home run, which, okay, it happens. 5 Ks, 1 walk. Perfectly good start from him because you got the 6 innings from him, against the Tigers team. Tough. 3.10 ERA in his last 11 starts. So he's been really consistent for them, really good. And there was an interesting point made by Michael Kay earlier on in the day. Will Warren was supposed to be in the major leagues all year, the minor leagues all year, if I can correct myself. Will Warren's ETA, Stacey, was not until the middle of next summer. So he's done a lot for the Yankees, being asked to pitch in a full-time role for them in a much more advanced period of time than he normally was supposed to. I don't think you can look at, I'm not sure he gets a playoff start necessarily, but it's very hard for me to look at Will Warren's year and think that he's had a terrible year. If you take out the 3 clunkers that he had, which, again, obviously you can't take those out, but if you take those out, his ERA is in the low 3s, which is really solid for a pitcher of his stature.
Right. So he did a nice job, but let's talk about what happened in the 7th inning, because I just the Yankees, when they're good, when they win World Series, 2009, they lost to Cleveland. What was that one game? Like 20-4.
Yeah.
In 2000, they lost a game to Cleveland that I went to in September of 2000 when they were kind of like, backing their way to the playoffs. They lost like 15-3. And it was the same thing as Tuesday night when they finally got an out in a really big inning where Cleveland had a really big inning. We, jokingly cheered that, like,
cheer.
finally a strikeout. Like, yay. Fernando Cruz, I'm actually surprised that this happened to. Mark Leiter Jr., not so much, but the fact that the both of them
had basically the worst outings that they've ever had in the same inning. It's just one of those weird baseball things that happen.
Yeah, the right buttons weren't pushed. Like you said, though, like it does happen. It's unfortunate, but it's one game, and that's why you kind of got to look at baseball as that 1-in-162 thing. I'm not trying to minimize the loss. I'm not happy with the loss. There's 2 weeks left in the season in September. It's obviously a big loss, but these games do happen, and I think sometimes there's more value in crumpling up the paper, tossing it in the bin, and saying there's 2 more games left in this series. That is a thing, and yeah, those 2 were terrible. I want to ask you one thing. What did you think of the decision to go to Tim Hill in that spot after Leiter? I didn't understand it. You think it was potentially just to get Tim Hill work because they haven't used him in a while?
Maybe.
I just don't like using him there in a situation where you do have 5 games in 5 days after this.
Yeah.
Like there's no off day between the Red Sox series, so I'd like to save Tim Hill because you very well could need him tomorrow. So I don't love using him, but it's probably just to get him some work because he hasn't had work in a while.
Yeah, like at that point, there was no way the Yankees were coming back. You could have put a position player in there to pitch.
That's the thing. Use Brubaker there. Like don't use Tim Hill when he's one of your arms that you rely on.
Yeah, yeah, or even Blackburn at that point.
Yeah. So I didn't totally understand what they were doing in that spot, but again, it's a paper bin game to me. It's to toss it away. It happens. It's a loss. This loss counts for as much as a 2-1 loss does in the stand.
Right. Like if they lost 3-2, it's the same as them losing the way they did. It's just
it gets away from you and it's frustrating.
It just looks worse because this all happened in the 7th inning. Like it was a 2-2 tie. You're like, okay.
Well, and I'll give you why it looks extra worse is that fact that it happened in the 7th inning and it happened while they were updating you on the screen as the Toronto Blue Jays were down 3-0.
Right. Then they tied
and you thought and won the game 4-3.
Yeah.
So that burns.
Yes, that's annoying. So here are some stats because this is interesting. This is per James Smythe of Yes. Fernando Cruz, the dreadful outing, 5 runs without recording an out. That made his ERA jump from 2.66 to 3.76 in one night.
That's the weird thing about relievers.
Yeah. And then the 9 runs in the 7th are the most allowed by the Yankees in an inning since September 29th, 2023 in Kansas City. That game that was started by who? Carlos Rodón.
Carlos Rodón, yep.
The 9 runs in the first inning. And per Katie Sharp, the Yankees are the second Major League Baseball team in the last 75 years to have 2 relievers allow 4 or more runs and get 0 outs in a game. The Angels also did it on August 31st, 1999 against Cleveland.
That Rodón game really annoyed me because if you remember watching that game, Aaron Boone just refused to pull him from that game.
Yeah.
And just let him keep going. And I'm sitting there, not that I really care that much about ERA, but why are you letting his ERA get torched for no reason? He doesn't have it today.
Yeah.
He left his pitcher out to dry in that start.
So here's another fun thing that I decided to do because when I was looking at the box score, I noticed this. So Detroit's last 5 innings, 2 runs, 0 runs, 9 runs, 1 run, 0 runs. So 2-0-9-1-0 is the zip code for Silver Spring, Maryland.
That's very interesting. Wow.
Yeah. When I looked at it, I was like, that's definitely a zip code. Let's look up and see what it is. But yes, that's the zip code for Silver Spring, Maryland. So let's talk about some good things because there were a couple of good things that happened. Judge hit his 44th home run of the season. He passes Yogi with his 359th career home run, and Bellinger is inching ever so closer to 30 home runs. He hit his 28th of the season.
Yeah. Judge is just numbers when you really think about it full circle. We'll discuss it more when the season ends, but 5th all time on the Yankee list is just so impressive.
Yeah. I know we talked about him on yesterday's show, but we need to bring this up. So what was your reaction to that bunt fail by Anthony Volpe?
Yeah, attempt is strong. It was really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a sad pop fly. It was a sad bloop fly. I don't even know what you call it.
Yeah.
Really bad. Really bad performance all over from Volpe in this game. And then there was the play where he was backing up trying to make the play in short center field. That was a really, really tough play, but he kind of fell in not so graceful of a way. It didn't look good either.
And it's, on top of Boone coming out before the game saying he was thinking about benching him, but then decided not to because of what he did in the playoffs last year, and they're just going to play him. And it's just like, dude, since June 28th, because we went through some of the numbers, but June 28th, his batting line is 177, 215, 367. Since early August, it gets worse. 150, 186 on base percentage, and 280 slugging.
This is an organization that in 2015 benched Jacoby Ellsbury in the wild card game, who'd been playing center field for them all year for Aaron Hicks in a whim. So I don't want to hear that what he did for us last October. You guys loved Alex Verdugo last October. Go pick him up off the scrap heap. He's available.
What's with guys with the initials AV and the Yankees forcing them to play when they're clearly not performing?
Tremendous point out of you. And we love to lift the curtain here, so let's do it a little bit more. Earlier today when those comments came out from Boone, I texted you because, again, Boone reiterated that the reason why Volpe is continuously playing is because of how well he played in October of last year. And he did play well. He had the Grand Slam in the World Series. He wasn't a bad player, but Stacey, he wasn't exactly Tony Gwynn at the plate in October last year.
Right.
He was good. But,
yeah.
I mean, are we really going to sit here and act like he was one of the more dominant? He didn't have a historical postseason stretch last year.
But that's the thing. That was last year. You have to look at this season and how he's doing. He hasn't earned a spot on the playoff roster at all.
Yeah. There's nothing that you could... Yeah, I can't defend it anymore. I don't have an explanation for it. I don't get what they're doing. And I wish I had something to tell you, but trying to make a point that Caballero... Oh yeah, he'll play here and there coming up. Also, who does this help? Who do those comments help? Like, I don't like when people are overly calculated in life, but be a little more calculated. You're the manager of the New York Yankees, for God's sake. If you're going to go out there and make a comment about how Caballero is going to play spot, he's going to get a game in this series, maybe in the Boston series, just flat out say you believe in Volpe and he's our guy, or we're going to bench him and start platooning these two. Don't give me a half, what answer. Of you're afraid to hurt Volpe's feelings, but you're also telling him that his job's not his full-time, but he is your starting shortstop, and you do believe in him, but you're going to put Caballero in more. What's the answer here? Because I don't know how that answer helps Volpe's confidence at all.
Right.
It just none of this makes any sense to me.
Right. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings, reactions to games. Got plenty of those on Tuesday night. We send out the lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, Blue Jays manager John Schneider spoke out about the Yankees' perfectly legal sign stealing, and we'll tell you what he said next.
The NFL season is here, thank God, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with the can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Now, I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game even more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays. I love it. It's my favorite time of year. You got to get involved. So are you ready? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. And this episode is also brought to you by Nutrafol. You probably seen a million ads out there for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. It's not just the hype. It's a supplemental, clinically tested target that targets the root cause of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. The best part, it's easy. You take 4 pills with a meal and no prescription is needed. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code one word, LOCKEDONMLB.
If you're new to the show, we have Fan Mail Friday. We do it every week. We have you ask us questions and we answer them to the best of our ability. And if you watch us on YouTube, we have a way for you to ask us questions that's easy. You go to our channels page, you click on the post tab, you will see where I've left your instructions to leave the questions underneath that post. And the deadline is Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
So John Schneider, the manager of the Blue Jays, as you know, is never shy on giving us his opinion on what he thinks of the New York Yankees. Not a fan. Neither is the entire Blue Jays organization, clearly, or their broadcast team. I'll bring that up in a second. First, I want to get to this. John Schneider had some interesting comments on Tuesday, Stacey, where he basically said the Yankees are stealing signs, and we know that they are. It's well documented that they are, and they abused Max Scherzer on Sunday by stealing his changeup sign, which is kind of weird that he's a 41-year-old pitcher. You'd think he'd have that under wraps by now, but nonetheless, let's just confirm and get out in front of it right now. They're doing all of this legally. They are not doing anything illegally. This has been happening in baseball literally since 1868. Literally since signs were a thing, sign stealing has been a thing. Teams have been doing this for decades, centuries. What I do find weird is the fact that the Yankees aren't even trying to hide it. They're not even attempting to make it a hidden thing. They're out there up front like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Stop us.
They're flapping their arms when they're on second base. They're doing if you're an old person like me, they're doing the Coco Beware dance basically on second base with their arms flapping. It's unbelievable.
Whatever that is. They are.
He was a wrestler.
I don't understand that method of going about it because now you're letting teams know that you know their signs. So what's the point of sign stealing if they know now they have a chance to counteract it? Whatever. John Schneider's comments out loud were, the Yankees are good, long pause, when they know something. And that I find very peculiar because you're almost insinuating the Yankees are not a good team when they don't know the signs. Now, you want to make your point about the 2017, 18, 19, probably still now, Houston Astros? Absolutely, go for it. Those were illegal ways of stealing signs. They literally knew what pitch was coming. Keep in mind, on Sunday, the Yankees only knew when a changeup was or wasn't coming. Max Scherzer throws multiple pitches. So that could still leave the fastball, the slider, the splitter, the two-seam up for interpretation of what's coming at that point. You just knew the changeup wasn't or was coming. When you were on the Astros in 2017, you knew curveball, changeup, slider, fastball, slurve, two-seam, four-seam, name all the pitches you want. You knew exactly what was coming when it was coming and made things a lot easier for an Astros player. So let's get out in front of that and clear that up for the moment. This comment feels very much like John Schneider's a little salty and butthurt that his team is just simply not good at stealing signs. Doesn't know how to do it. They're not good at it. They can't figure it out. Whatever it is, I find it really weird to go at a team for being good at stealing signs when that's been a part of the game for, longer than me, you, and John Schneider's ages combined have been a part of the game. It's just very odd.
Yeah. That felt like sour grapes to me. Oh, this is the only way they beat us in a series. It's like, no, they could have beaten you in some of those games in Toronto and they beat themselves. Okay. Yeah. Stop it. And
you could also steal signs too.
Yeah, but don't act like the Yankees aren't a good team and don't make it seem like they were only good last year because they were stealing signs too. Like, oh, they're only helped because they know how to steal signs. No. How about your team makes it to the playoffs and actually wins a series for once, John? How about that?
And let's, as we pivot that, let's go to the Blue Jays broadcast. So the Blue Jays broadcast during their game against the Astros on Tuesday night decided to, in the middle of their broadcast, highlight how the Yankees were down 12-2. And highlight how, this team, the Blue Jays play-by-play person whose name I don't know because they're not relevant, said on the broadcast, the Yankees, they're not a good baseball team. They don't do anything really well. They only win when they hit the home run ball. And that is a thing that kind of got to me. So I agree with him on a lot of the points there. They don't play the field very well at all. They don't run the bases very well at all. They do win games. They do have a pretty good record at this point. which is 3 games worse than your beloved Toronto Blue Jays record is, which is kind of weird to flex when you're not that far ahead of a team. Whatever. What I find weird about that comment, though, Stacey, is you could accuse the Yankees in past years of only living and dying by the home run ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the one year you can't do that.
Right.
They've actually been able to manufacture runs without the home run ball a lot this year.
Yeah,
so
a lot more. Yeah, a lot more than in the past. Yeah.
Yeah. So I find that very peculiar and odd that they can't. Also, that's pretty much all of baseball now. Now, I'll give the Blue Jays credit. They do a good job of producing runs without the long ball. But most of baseball now is building their teams with trying to win and live and die by the home run ball. And let me keep you in mind, the team that has so heavily bid and invested towards players that only hit the home run ball the last few off seasons, but were able to acquire none of them. The Blue Jays were supposedly in on Aaron Judge, didn't want a part of them. The Blue Jays were heavily in on Juan Soto, didn't want a part of them. The Blue Jays were heavily in on Shohei Ohtani, didn't want a part of them. All those guys, big home run guys that help your team live and die by the home run ball. So just watch where you talk. Your organization seems to want to live and die by the home run ball, but no one wants to seem to sign there unless they were drafted by that team. Just throwing that out there.
Again, make the playoffs and win a series, and then you can talk trash about other teams. Like, what is that? Like, would Michael Kay come on and say something like that about Toronto?
No.
No,
and I get the Tigers doing something like that if it's to the rest of that division because no one is remotely close to them since May. The Yankees are 3 games back of the Blue Jays, and at that point of the comment, they were 2 games back.
Right.
Like, what do you? The Yankees could catch you by the weekend.
Right.
It's a weird time to start bragging.
Right.
Some other news before we hit the break, Stacey. Aaron Boone gave some updates on Aaron Judge. I didn't love how these comments came out. He did basically say Judge is the only one who can tell us how he feels and knows how he feels. Now, Judge did throw a ball a little harder from right field in the game on Tuesday night, which I think is a good sign. He does plan on going forward, trying to alternate Giancarlo and Judge in the outfield as much as possible. So it sounds like they're going to alternate them for a while and then probably wean Giancarlo off more and more until he becomes the full-time DH. I don't love that plan, but I get it where they're coming from.
Yeah. I don't like it either because Stanton is hitting better when he's playing in the field.
Agreed. And I would say this. I think Judge is okay to play right now, and I think he's gotten doctor's orders cleared. I do think he's hurt. And I would not be remotely surprised if we saw that he was getting surgery when the season ends.
I don't think it's that bad. He wouldn't be able to play if he was getting surgery.
Oh, you've seen injuries like that before. I think I think if this team was out of it right now, they would absolutely just sit him and call him for the year. The fact that they're trying to win a World Series, they'll keep him in and have him play because his bat's fine. I mean, you saw it with the Tommy Johns the last few years, but Harper came back when he was not nearly ready to play the field. He DH'd for a whole season because you can, a lot of times with these bicep, elbow kind of injuries, you can swing the bat. You just can't throw really. So I don't know if it's surgery like Tommy John. I just think it might be like a reconstructive injury kind of surgery that he's back by spring training.
Reconstructive makes it sound like they're going to give him a new elbow.
Not hoping for it, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked at this point. They've handled things with very much kid gloves at this point.
Yeah.
So that's why it concerns me a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, we'll preview game 2 with Detroit, and we'll tell you about some news from around the league next.
Guys, as you know, there's nothing like catching a baseball game live. That energy, crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets, that seems to always be the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes all the fun out of it. And that's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price possible. Plus, all the fees are included, so the price you see is the price that you pay. I always use Gametime when I'm trying to get into Yankee Stadium, whether it's last minute or in advance. Gametime is the perfect way for me to get my tickets whenever I want. And one of the best parts, fees are always included. So I know upfront with no surprise fees at checkout, it's honestly a very seamless process. And honestly, it's faster, it's cheaper, it's less stressful than any other way that I've tried to buy tickets before. So download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. And not only do we cover your team every single day, but we're also giving you instant episodes after every single game. Check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman, and it appears right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. It also streams on our YouTube channel. Give rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So, Stacey, as we move forward in this series, now we did mention they get Carlos Rodón, who has certainly been a stopgap for them and an unbelievable pitcher for them throughout this season. The Yankees definitely win in the pitching battles for the rest of this series, and that's important to note. Again, I would look at game one as a toss it in the trash bin kind of game. They lost. The score is not that relevant, and they've played really well over the last 2 weeks. It happens. They're going to lose games. It got away from them. Look at it as a positive. If they lost this game 3-2, they might have used all their elite bullpen arms.
True.
So there is that. Carlos Rodón will start for the Yankees, 16-7 with a 3.12 ERA. He'll go against Jack Flaherty, who's 7-13 with a 4.85. Has certainly not been what they expected this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. This game is an Amazon Prime Video game, correct?
Yes.
Wednesday is that slate, and then Thursday we'll go back to it'll be a 7:00 start, a 7:05 start. Cam Schlittler on the mound, 2-3 with a 3.24 ERA. He's going against TBD, so there is no announcement yet.
As of 9:45 p.m. on Tuesday night, there still was not a pitcher listed for Detroit for Thursday. So
teams love doing this lately. It's definitely a thing they're doing. Stacey, some news from around the league. Very interesting stuff. So on Monday night, the Los Angeles Dodgers had their second no-hitter taken into the ninth inning in the last 3 days. It's crazy stuff. I mean, they took a no-hitter into ninth with Glasnow going 7. Blake Trinan came in for the 8th, and then they gave up a double to start off the ninth inning. Wound up giving up a run. They didn't lose the game though. They did win the game 3-1, but it's crazy to take 2 no-hitters into the ninth inning twice in a week.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, wild stuff. Frankie Montas is going for Tommy John surgery. Devastating season for him, and just not good news at all. I gotta feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
Another injury news, which tell me if you raise your hand if you've heard this one before. Sean Murphy of the Braves will go for season-ending hip surgery. His season's over. I mean, the Braves, that is, I'm not a big excuse guy either, but that is a team that deserves the excuses, Stacey. They are a loaded roster talent-wise, and they have been hurt every 5 seconds this season. Everyone's been hurt on that team.
Decimated with injuries, yeah.
Kyle Tucker was placed on the IL with a left calf strain. It is retroactive back to the 6th, so he could be back sooner rather than later. Bo Bichette was placed on the IL because of the knee injury that he suffered against the Yankees. So I guess his is retroactive too.
Yeah.
Not a good sign for the Blue Jays as they're going to need him. And the Red Sox are calling up left-handed pitcher Connolly Early. Is that how you pronounce that name?
They did call him up because he's starting as we're recording. He is pitching against the Athletics.
So he's their number 6 prospect. He did start Tuesday's game, as Stacey said. She's going to pull up the numbers that he has as we're recording this. And Dustin May is going on the injured list for them as the guy who they acquired at the deadline. I do want to mention the Red Sox have called up like their entire farm system this year. All of their top prospects have gotten called up. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. Listen to this. So he's pitched 3 innings so far, and he gave up 2 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts.
In 2 innings?
3 innings.
Wow, that's still really impressive. They've got some insane pitching talent in their minor league system. Just called up Bayo. I mean, they are a really, really dominant young team. It's just crazy how much of their young players they've called up. They've called up all their young talent in the last year. It's wild what they've done. I guess good for the Woo Sox, right?
Yeah.
Yankees don't got to deal with them and their talent.
Yeah. So, I guess we just crumple up this loss, throw it in the bin, and maybe the Yankees take the next 2, and then it doesn't really matter, you know?
Again, if this was poor play the last 2 weeks and this is another loss piled on, I'd be so much more aggravated. But this is genuinely one game. And it's better to lose the game like this than to be, fighting late and using Luke Weaver and Bednar and Doval and all your top tier relievers. You'd rather just get it. Well, or I guess I should include Devin Williams in there because even though we don't think he's a top tier reliever, they use him in top tier situations.
Aaron Boone does.
Yeah. So I wouldn't take too much value in this loss. It's a loss. It happens. They're going to lose games. It's not the end of the world.
And Malachi, I'm so sorry you had to sit through that game.
Yeah. You saw a Judge home run though. So that is good.
Yes. That's good. But everything else, not good. So we're sorry about that. Yeah. We've both sat through so many clunkers. So it happens.
Helps you appreciate the wins more.
Yeah, that's true. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. For your second listen, find the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, until a World Series champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gatsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.